Yo, it's Stu J The Vamp, oh yeah. And you are tuned in with the Weather Watcher. Let's go.
I came back with some problems. I'm hoping you can solve them. I really need some company. I hope you won't stop loving me for real. Problems, I'm hoping you can.
Hey, Weather Watcher, Stu J The Vamp. Thank you for sitting down with us.
Appreciate it, man. We've been needing to do this for a while now, so.
Yeah, long overdue. So let's get into it.
Yeah, let's hit it.
How you been personally?
Amazing, dude. Like pretty much everything I've been wanting to go well has been going well. So I'm full-time editor right now for the Vile YouTube channel. Please check into that. Analyzing Evil. That's my homie. He's doing great. He's blowing up. Over like 300,000 subscribers right now. Dude's doing amazing. But yeah, meeting with so many people, doing so much stuff. Like I got a billion things going on. It's going great.
Let the people know what you do exactly and how long ago you started.
What I do is I'm an artist, editor, director, photographer, sexy philanthropist. I was just playing, but I've been doing it like 12 years now, but I've been doing it seriously for like 3. So yeah, since 2018 is when I went by Stu J The Vamp, and then just started going in from there, really.
Definitely. So
Yeah.
12 years ago. That's like 2009. So
That sounds about right, yeah.
What can you tell us about Stu J back then and what the difference was?
Oh,
J now?
no, I was rapping back then. I wasn't even singing or nothing like that. I was just bringing my guitar to school, like just trying to do music, but not really take it seriously. I had like 5 CDs and I tossed it to like all the girls I like, and that was it. I didn't do nothing else. Some people knew me, but like my music sucked, and like after that, after high school, I didn't think I was good enough. I was capable to do it, so I stopped for like a good minute, up until like, since I was like 16 at the time, all the way up till I was 25. I stopped, yeah.
Music, so 9-year hiatus?
Yeah, pretty much. But I mean, I was still doing music, but like it'd be like 1 track a year, and I would not tell anybody. That's how it was. Yeah, I didn't meet up with nobody, didn't talk with nobody. It was just me in my room. Oh, I want to do a song this year, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like that.
So you mentioned rapping before singing. Was that intentional? Did you want to be a rapper, or did it take you some time to really think you could sing like that?
I actually started off with guitar because my dad did guitar. So I'd bring my guitar to school, but then a lot of people were rapping because battle rap was like super cool back then. I mean, it's still dope, but like the intensity of it. So like I would go to other people's schools and like battle rap people, but every time I brought my guitar, I'd be doing like heavy guitar licks and stuff, but then girls would come over and they'd be like, "Can you sing this song?" And I'm like, "I don't know how to sing," but I would listen to like singers like all the time, like Usher, T-Pain, all that stuff. And so after that, I was like, oh, I want to learn how to sing. But I was terrible. I was terrible for the longest time. I probably only got good like these past 2 years, because I started taking it seriously like 3 years ago. So
Definitely. So
yeah.
It sounds like you took some time to build the fundamentals, get your skills up.
A lot, because I didn't know what I wanted. You know what I mean? So
True.
you know, when you know what you want, like I should have been at this point way sooner if I knew what I wanted, because you know. Back then, like freaking 10 years ago, it's like, oh, you want to be an artist? That's kind of stupid. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, took me a minute to like be like, I don't give a fuck what nobody thinks. I'm just do this.
Following your heart, or actually deciding what's in your heart.
Yeah, because a lot of people said like, you're not a good singer. You're not meant for this at all. So yeah, even people who are super close to me and like I still love them and everything. And this is one thing about people around that be like, oh. My friends and my family don't support me. It's like, yo, they don't know what you see in your mind. Like, you have to bring that out, and then people will turn around. Like, everybody now that's close to me, they're like, oh, I knew you were. I'm like, shut the hell up. You did not. You were saying that bullshit. You're like, oh, you ain't gonna make it. You should probably do something else. I'm like, but that I don't blame them. You have to show people what you see in your own mind. What it is, man.
So what was it that sparked the inspiration, and you saw that in yourself? That, you know what, fuck what they think. I know what I want.
Like ever since I was like 16, like when I was like recording on like a really shitty ass laptop, I knew I loved melodies, and they were good ideas, but they were terribly executed. But I always had that like flavor for it because I love melodies way more than lyrics. Like if anybody shows me a song that where the melody's sick, I love that first, but that's typically like where it started. Like I knew that my melodies were tight, I just didn't think I could execute it well, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then it's like you practice enough and then somebody else is like, that's actually pretty good, and you're like, is it? And then you go from there, and it's like you get a boost of confidence and you just keep going. Yeah, but nobody really believed me when I started at all, so, but I didn't care. I loved it too much.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So when you decided to come back, what's the inspiration for adding Stu J The Vamp and kind of bringing that persona to life for your return to music?
Yeah, so it was actually due to Hopsin. Funny enough, I rapped for Hopsin one time, like when he used to do the live streams in Tiny Chat.
Oh shit.
And it's funny because like he said I had like a 3rd grade flow because he was rating everybody. He's like, oh, your flow's 3rd grade, it's not that good. And I got so pissed. And so I made a bunch of diss tracks about them and stuff. They're still like up, but I archived them so nobody can find them, and I don't want anybody to find them. But like I remember one interview he said, if I didn't have these contacts, everybody would just paint me as another black guy rapping. So I'm like, I didn't think I was like that extraordinary, especially like my singing at the time or anything. So I was like, when I came back, because this was after my 7-year relationship breakup, I'm like, I stopped doing music because of her. So when I came back, I'm like, yo, fuck it, I'm doing music, but I'm not. I used to be just Stu J, and then I knew if I came back, I wanted to get away from that. I wanted like a different persona. So I was like, yo, I knew I wanted the contacts, but I wanted something else. Like I didn't want to just be like, oh, it's a Hopsin clone. I'm like, okay, what's my favorite movie? And it's Blade. So I was like, yo, Blade's sick. I'll just add fangs because I saw this one girl wear fangs every Halloween. I'm like, I could do that on stage for sure. So it was like it was between Stu J The Vamp and Stu J The Fang, and I was like, Fang was alright, but like Vamp sounds like amp, but it's also a slang on like vampire. So I was like, yo, that's it. And then from there I was like, yeah, I'm riding with that. And I remember a hell of people did not like the eyes or whatever. They're like, yo, you wear that shit on stage? I'm like, hell yeah, I do. They're like, yo, that's goofy. I'm like, I don't care. Same with singing. It's like people are like, you can't sing. I'm like, I didn't give a damn. I'm like, yo, I like what this is, so I'm gonna keep doing it. And now everybody's like, yo, the contacts and fangs are tight, man. It's like, yo, nobody was saying that, but that was like bad. So, again, it's just like, do what you want, man, and then people will eventually follow along. Bro, anybody can do anything they fucking want, period. Straight up. Like you just believe it harder than anybody around you. And if you can't do it there, go somewhere else that like you're allowed to. There's too much opportunity nowadays for like anybody to not be able to do what they want to do, at least in time. Sure, you have to give up a little bit. Sure, you have to do things you don't want to do, but eventually, if you just keep to it, you do whatever you want.
Definitely. So to catch everyone up to today, what can you say about that time period? 2018, Stu J The Vamp is back, up until the point to where people finally started recognize you.
It was definitely 2019 Peaches and Pies. I think most people recognize me for that song, and it was weird because I probably had dropped like 20 songs before that, but it was a song that I made about like a girl I was dating at the time, and I was just angry. And I sat down on the computer. I'm like, I'm gonna say whatever, even if it doesn't make sense. Like it was. I hate that kind of song is like everybody recognizes me. It's peaches and pies, and because I was just making no sense. Like peaches and pies in the dark of light. Everybody kept coming up to me like, what does peaches and pies mean? And I was like, I was just saying shit, man. And because I was like telling girls suck my dick in that song. I was like, shout out to my dad because he passed away when I was 17. Like I was just saying like a whole bunch of shit. And then I shot the video randomly in a cemetery. I just hit up my brother John. Shout out to JK the Visual. I hit up my brother John. I was like, yo, let's go to the cemetery and just shoot a video randomly. And then everybody since then, it's like, oh, peaches and pies. I love that shit. I love that shit. Even though that song makes no goddamn sense. But that just goes like, when you're just coming from the heart and it doesn't matter, that's what people remember you for.
They pick up something to connect with.
Yeah, but yeah, that's when I started really getting recognized, and then after that it was like Deacon, and then Blood Moon and Come By, stuff like that.
Definitely. So those are definitely memorable songs. Around the time I started getting put onto you, so how I first got introduced to Stu J The Vamp was before he was doing music. Trey Gold introduced me to your music.
Oh,
He said,
Trey Gold's a
hey, I
homie.
went to an artist party because I want to start doing music. I met this guy named Stu J. He showed me his music. What can you say about your involvement in the scene and your networking and kind of what that's done for you in your music?
That's actually a sick question, because, and this is what I'll say to people trying to do more in the scene or get more recognized in any scene. You have to add value beyond it. Like, if your music, there's only so much you can do with we good? Okay, there's only so much you can do with like your music, especially if you aren't that great at the time, and I wasn't that great at the time. So I'd shoot my own videos and stuff and do my own artwork, like drawing and all that. I think another reason most people know me for my drawings and stuff in my videos. And so I used to do a lot for myself, but then eventually people were like, yo, that's dope, can you do it for me? And that's how I met a lot of people. Through doing videos for other people, through doing art for other people. I used to do a lot of artwork for Jub Jubs when I was still open, like Nuff the Pharaoh, all that. I got shouted out by Ritz, and oh my god, what's that other guy's name? I can't believe I'm missing it. What? Hopsin's on the record label, Dizzy Wright. Yeah, Dizzy Wright reposted me and stuff, and like all that for my artwork, and so I had to like do that, right, which is like isn't a part of the music, but that led back to the music. And so a lot of people started messing with me. They're like, oh, you do music? Because like I'll do artwork for somebody, and they're like, oh, you do music? I'm like, yeah, check it out if you want to. They check it out and they're like, yo, this is actually pretty good. And so that, be sure to add value, because a lot of people, some people like just want to do the music and they don't want to do anything else, and that, like, I feel that, but it's like, if you want people to care, you gotta give them what they want, and if they don't want your music, you gotta add something else. That's why people have gimmicks or like themes, or just to add on top of the music. Like the music is the window dressing to everything else. You know what I'm saying? So like same with like Bozzy. When Bozzy came down there, shout out to Bozzy. He came down and he paid me for a song. This is when nobody knew about him, and he did a video for me and stuff. And now Bozzy's known for shooting videos and mixing people's songs. Like, he added value. People came back and then they listened to the music and it's like, yo, this music's great. You know what I mean? So that's like, bring more to the table than just your music. Even if your music's great, like, the more you can offer people, the better. So
Definitely solid advice for anyone trying to get.
And also link up with people. I used to be so introverted, like hardcore. I can only handle people for like 2 hours before I start getting annoyed, and people notice that on me, and like people are like, oh, I don't think Stu likes me or whatever. And it's like, I don't hate anybody, like I love everybody, but like I definitely get annoyed with people being around me for too long, and that's just me. That has nothing to do with anybody else. But even me, as somebody who's introverted, like I know the value of meeting up with people and like just talking. So like, it's important. Go to people's shows, go to people's events as much as you can, because just like one conversation could lead to like so many other things that will benefit you down the road. So meeting up with people and adding value, that's like baseline with any business, really.
So around that time, fast forward a couple months, I stumble on you again on my own with a project called Bad Nostalgia.
Yeah.
And that was
Bad Nostalgia.
literal 5 days before Weather Watcher went live. And hearing that really inspired me to pull the trigger on this whole platform. What can you tell people about that project, and what should they check out from that if they were to go look it up right now?
So Bad Nostalgia, because it was actually, so this goes back to like the Peaches and Pies. The Peaches and Pies thing led to Tears of Blood, which is another big milestone that most people know me for, because the artwork was crazy and a lot of songs were good. So after that, a lot of songs that weren't on the cut of that made it to Bad Nostalgia. So Bad Nostalgia was supposed to be Tears of Blood 2, but I wanted a more like fall vibe, a more like chill back. You probably heard it on the album. It's more like lo-fi. It's more like chilled compared to like most stuff I do, and that's where like songs like Clem and Problems came from. So like I just wanted a more, because I was still feeling, because Tears of Blood is about like my ex, and then I was still feeling that over. So that's how it came to be on that one. I remember I shaved my whole head and it got real short, and I was wearing a beanie, and I was like, I hated that project when I made it, but like looking back at it, like it was something that was pretty cool. But yeah, Bad Nostalgia you can check up on anything like YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud. Actually, that birthed probably like my best song that performs anywhere, which is Problems. Like everybody fucking loves Problems. That'd probably be the song that blows me up, honestly, if enough people hear it, because people play that at bars all the time in their cars. People show me, which is funny because I wrote that song in like 25 minutes. Like I recorded everything, like recorded, uploaded, 25 minutes when I sat down. So, and people really like that side of me, and I'm always thinking about making a project based off Problems, because I feel like people would really fuck with that.
Yeah, I still listen to that to this day.
Sativa, all on me. I really need some indica to fill my needs. These rappers out here faking, that's all we see. They looking like replacements to Squad and G. Been at this shit for years, so we do it with ease. Showing up to peers while they jocking the steez. You shit about the drop, so haters get on your knees. This shit will never stop, they better get up to speed, yeah.